So hello students, we are going to continue with the chapter biological classification. We have studied a little about it in the previous class. So in the previous class what we have studied is we have talked about certain contributions of certain workers, right? We have talked about workers like Aristotle, Theophrastus, Bentham and Hooker, Karl Woese, etc., etc. And then what we have started is we have started talking about the different types of classification system, right? As we know, whenever we are talking about these classification system, we have to discuss 2, 3, 4 and 5 kingdom classification system, and what we know is 5 kingdom classification system is the one that is accepted nowadays, right? So we have talked about the 2 kingdom classification. What we remember is it was given by Linnaeus, and what are the 2 kingdoms? The 2 kingdoms was the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, but there were certain demerits or certain criticisms on that, and so 3 kingdom classification needed to be developed, right? 3 kingdom classification we have started. It was given by a scientist called as Haeckel. And what was the 3rd kingdom? The 3rd kingdom was Protista. When we talk about Protista, the first line that we remember is it is a kingdom of unicellular eukaryotes. Up till this portion we have completed in the last class. So today we are going to talk about the rest of the classification. After the 3 kingdom classification, what came was the 4 kingdom classification, right? So 4th kingdom classification, what we need to know is 4 kingdom classification. It was proposed by Copeland. And what was the 4th kingdom? The 4th kingdom was Monera. 3rd kingdom ki asile Protista, aru etia 4th kingdom is the kingdom called as Monera. This kingdom is a kingdom of prokaryotes. If you remember, when we have talked about the 2 kingdom classification, right? 2 kingdom what eta drawback ki asile that there was no distinction between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes, unicellular and multicellular, photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic. Just to solve all those problems, these classifications came into account. When we talk about 3 kingdoms, tat ami ki difference to gom paisilo je eukaryotes aru prokaryotes or ki korisile difference eta differentiate kori disile, eukaryotes bilakor eta classification korise and that aru eta kingdom of thoi disile, hey kingdom to ki asile, that was the 3rd kingdom or the Protista. Now we have a kingdom that belonged, or that kingdom was a kingdom of only the prokaryotes, right? So bacteria nisna organisms bilakok tahatok ami ki buli kau prokaryote. So jimanbor prokaryotes ase all belong to one kingdom, and that kingdom is called as Monera. As of now amar keita kingdom hol, we had 4 kingdoms: plant kingdom, animal kingdom, Protista aru Monera. Even after this 4 kingdom classification, there was a problem, and the problem was about fungi, right? So fungi upor problem to ki asile that they were not sure the fungi was a plant ne it was a animal, right? So kisuman plant or nisa characteristics ase, kisuman animal or nisa characteristics ase. Maximum to characteristics fungi have almost all the characteristics similar to a plant, but one basic characteristic that they differ is eta bostu junto plantor nisa nohoy, basic bostu that they do not prepare their own food, right? Baki bilak to ami plant like buli ami kobo paru. As far as the plant body of fungi is concerned, it is also it is called as mycelium, almost look like a plant, right? Tahate ki produce kore, spores produce kore. Spore production is obviously a plant like character, right? So maximum of the characters tahator plant or nisana, kintu in spite of that we cannot say fungi to be a plant. The reason behind this, or the main reason behind this, je tahate to autotrophe nohoy, no? Yeah. Exactly. They do not prepare their own food, right? So since they do not prepare their own food, they are not autotrophs. So you cannot place this group of plants or this group of organisms into the plant kingdom. So just to solve this problem, what came into account was the 5th kingdom classification. বুজি পাইছো ন 5 কিংডম ক্লাসিফিকেশন খন কিয় কৰিব লাগা হল কাৰণ ফাঞ্জাই প্লেসমেন্টটো আমি গম পোৱা নাই এতিয়ালৈকে সো আফটাৰ দিস ওয়াজ দ্য 5 কিংডম ক্লাসিফিকেশন Our 5 kingdom classification কোৱা লগে লগে who proposed it? We have discussed it in the last class. কোনে propose কৰিছিলে? Yeah, it was R.H. Whitakers. Yeah, আৰু যদি complete কেতিয়াবা কি হয় in shortly আমি R.H. Whitaker পুৰা নামটো নকৈ পেলাই Whitakers 5 kingdom classification বুলিও আমি we can just say, right? So 5 kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whitaker, right? And what was the 5th kingdom? The 5th kingdom was fungi. Our jihetu 5 kingdom classification kon most accepted hoy tare okoman details ami janibo lagibo, and what is the detail that we are going to talk is criterion for classification. Tamane ki basis ot a classification system kon dia hoisile, ki bostu study kori pelai a classification kon dia hoisile. The criteria for classification goes like this. It dealt with cell organization. A criteria gita birat important from examination point of view. If you are talking about cell organization, what we understand is we are talking about either prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Right. Next is body complexity. Body complexity means study was based on either the organism was unicellular or multicellular. So a gutebor points porhi pelai 5 kingdom classification kon dia hoisile. Third is mode of nutrition. And talking about mode of nutrition, we know there are 2 types of nutrition to be precise: autotrophic ne heterotrophic. And when we talk about heterotrophic, there might be 2 types, that is ingestion and absorption. Our absorption type of nutrition kune kore, we can give the example of fungi. Our ingestion type, all the animals, no? What is the difference between ingestion and absorption? Ekdam shortly ami ki janu je if the whole body absorbs the food, that is called as absorption. Aru jodi mukhere khai, if the organism have the food from by its mouth, then it is called as ingestion. The 4th criteria was ecological role. I think we have talked about this before. Ecological role, right? Ecology and evolution, both of them are 2 different things. Ecological role means what? Protective organism or eta role thake. What is the role? Either it will be a producer, or it will be a consumer, or it will be a decomposer. So ecological role mane ki we are talking about the organism, aru he organism to ki hobo pare? Producer hobo pare, consumer hobo pare, ba decomposer hobo pare. And lastly, the 5th criteria was reproduction. So Whitaker jonkon 5 kingdom classification disile, hey classification khon on the basis of what? On the basis of these 5 points that the classification system was proposed. Yar bitorte the point to be the point to be remembered, and the most important point from examination point of view, tate question ahe the 5 kingdom classification khon on the basis of what was it given? So on the basis of what boli question to ahile ami ki jano there are 5 points on the basis of which this classification was given. But if the question is asked directly, on the basis of what, and you are supposed to give only one answer, then a gute pastar bitor sobotse important ki it was on the mode of nutrition that this classification system came into account. Buji paisu ne ami 5 kingdom classification পঢ়ি আছো, right? So 5 kingdom classification কিবাহৰ বেসিসতে দিছিলে, কিহৰ বেসিসত দিছিলে? এই 5টা পইণ্টৰ বেসিসত দিছিলে। কিন্তু কোৱেশ্চনটো যেতিয়া আহিব MCQ পইণ্ট অফ ভিউ, তেনেকে যদি আহে না ৰিপ্ৰডাকশন টু নাই হেতু তাত NCERT বুকখনত তেনেকে দিয়া হোৱা নাই, right? But we know these are the things that are considered. But যদি just one line on answer to দিব লাগে যে 5 kingdom classification system was based on কি? Mode of nutrition. কারণ আমি জানো যে ফাঞ্জাই লৈ পেলাই হে প্ৰবলেম হৈছিলে, হয় না বাকিখিনিতো অলৰেডি সলভে হৈ গৈছিলে সো ফাঞ্জাই লৈ প্ৰবলেম হৈছিলে ফাঞ্জাই কিহৰ কাৰণে প্ৰবলেম হৈছিলে obviously on the basis of nutrition because fungi no doubt was plant like but autotroph nasile so basic point ki mode of nutrition so this is all about the different types of classification system after studying these 5 classification system no ami ki koisilo je 6 classification system ekhonu ase kintu hekhon generally ami etia yat consider nokoru most accepted kunkhon 5 kingdom so according to 5 kingdom classification ultimately ami ki kingdom palu pasta kingdom palu no he pasta ki asile say yeah exactly we talk about the first one that is Monera right Monera ami ki monot rakhu that it is the kingdom of prokaryotes right so hey what to monot rakha tar pora okoman evolve kingdom ki asile Protista right and Protista boli kole what we remember it is the kingdom of ki eukaryotes boli kole exactly the word to be remembered is unicellular eukaryotes why not eukaryotes okol eukaryotes kole ki bhul hobo karon exactly plant kingdom plant to gute eukaryotes higher organisms bila gute eukaryotes right so he kani unicellular word to birat important unicellular eukaryotes right and tar pisor kingdom ki asile eta palu Monera pra ki evolve hua boli koise the higher organism group that is called as Protista and next duta kingdom palu aru ki asile fungi plantae aru animalia etia I'll draw two fungi plantae and animalia mo duta diagram akim ha ei duita diagram or bhitor diagram na hoy aru just chart eta tar bhitor kuntu correct muk kobason saba Monera ঠিক আছে just okoman heri kon swa board kon saba Protista next ami ki janu fungi plantae animalia right aru yate ami ki akim fungi plantae animalia right so a2 eta this is one and this is the other right yato ki ase pasta kingdom okay yate ki ase yato pasta kingdom ase yato pasta kingdom ase right tolot ki ase ekdom pura ancient kingdom boli kole we remember of the prokaryotes and that is the kingdom of Monera now we know 5 kingdoms has been given by Whitaker right kuntu way of representation is correct a2 correct no a2 the b is always correct and A is wrong. Why is this wrong? Because we know from Monera Protista has evolved, that is correct. But from Protista fungi has evolved, that is also correct. But fungi pura plants ho goisile jano. Our plants are pura to obviously animals hoi joa nai no, the plants did not get converted into animals. Neither the fungi got converted into plants. So if you represent a diagram in this way, this would be a wrong diagram. So this is something that we need to know. So from this diagram আমি কি বুজিলো যে Moneraৰ পিছত তাতকে অকমান advanced group কি আছিল Protista and Protista is the group of organisms that from which the different or the rest of the 3 kingdoms has evolved. Fungi, plantae aru animalia. Right? I think it's clear now. Talking about Monera, it is prokaryotes, Protista, unicellular eukaryotes. Fungi boli kole, there are so many things you need to remember about fungi because fungi is totally a new topic. You know, as of now, ami ki jani ecological role to decomposer. Hoine? And plantae boli kole, what we remember? Producer. Our animalia by animals boli kole, consumers. right? So these are the 5 kingdoms that was given by R.H. Whittaker, and this is the classification system that is accepted. So in this lesson, what we are going to discuss is, we are going to discuss in details Monera, Protista, and fungi, right? As far as Plantae is concerned, Plantae is the 3rd chapter of your NCERT. Plant kingdom boli eta chapter ase, so at that time we will be discussing this one. So we come to the first kingdom, that is Monera. So Monera kwa loge loge, word to ki morat rakho, prokaryotes, or prokaryotes kwa loge loge eta example kwa. Give me an example of a prokaryote. Bacteria, archaebacteria ase, cyanobacteria ase, bahut ase no, actinomycetes ase, right? So there are so many examples of prokaryotes, but the most common example that we talk about is obviously bacteria. Prokaryotes boli kwa loge loge, common example ki bacteria. So we'll be discussing about the kingdom Monera. Right? So kingdom Monera kotha ami kisman points janibo lagibo. The first, it is an ancient kingdom. Ar kiho karone ancient kingdom koise? Karon these organisms are found almost 3.5 million years ago. Tetiao ebilak organisms poa hoisile. Right. The second point is, according to Whittaker, this is a kingdom of prokaryotes. Right. So Monera salient features bilak ami kori aso, and if you are talking about prokaryotes, tetia hole some of the characteristics of prokaryotes, they well organized nucleus থাকিব নে নাথাকে নাথাকে nuclear membrane নাই and nucleolus নাই well organized aquae নাই but does that mean genetic material নাথাকিব nucleus or ভিতৰত RNA thake ne DNA thake? It is DNA, right? So we know that it is DNA. So we know we are talking about the kingdom of prokaryotes, and whenever we talk about prokaryotes, tahator nucleus to well defined nohoy. Well defined nohoy mane ki they do not have that proper nuclear membrane, but in spite of that tahator to genetic material thakiboi, right? So there tahator junkhini genetic material thake, that could also be called as a nucleus, kintu term nucleus to ami use no kori pelai. What is the term that we use instead is incipient nucleus, right? So prokaryotes bilakor nucleus ase ne nai? Nai, ase ki incipient nucleus, that is also called as genophore, right? Incipient nucleus or genophore is present. Aru a incipient nucleus ot ki thakibo? Naked circular DNA present. Right? So DNA bilak thakibo, DNA bilakor shape kenekwa hobo, that it would be an example of a circular DNA. Higher organisms or generally DNA structure to kenekwa hoy, tumalke pisot bhalke poriba when you talk about it in the chapter genetics portion. DNA bilakor structure ki hoy, they have a helical structure. Right? You have a helical structure, asatar nisna, but spiral or nisna, that is what is called as helical. But in case of prokaryotes, what they have is a circular DNA. Similar, DNA is something that we understand. What is DNA? The genetic part that we are talking about, right? Deoxyribonucleic acid by ribonucleic acid. This is next is deoxyribonucleic acid. Next is naked circular DNA. Naked mane ki? Why are we saying, or why are we using the word naked? Because whenever a DNA is covered with a particular protein, তেতিয়া হলে আমি তাক নেকেড বুলি নকওঁ সো ডিএনএ বিলাক যদি এটা protein and that name of the protein is called as histone protein যদি হিস্টোন প্ৰটিনেৰে কভাৰ হৈ থাকে তেতিয়া হলে তাক আমি নেকেড বুলি নকওঁ ইন কেস অফ আ prokaryote that histone protein is absent তাৰ মানে ডিএনএ কভাৰিং খন absent আৰু সেই কাৰণে আমি কি ইউজ কৰিছো that the DNA is naked right histone protein is absent right so details about histone protein again in your genetics class next is ako prokaryote eta characteristic je membrane bound cell organelles present ne absent right so since this is a kingdom of a prokaryote so it will have all the characteristics of prokaryote right so membrane bound cell organelles absent membrane bound cell organelles what we understand by that term tamane ki we have a cell right inside the cell you have the liquid component cytoplasm protoplasm whatever you say right and within that liquid component you have the cell organelles right cell organelles mane it could be the nucleus it could be the mitochondria it could be ribosomes etc right lysosomes ebilak junbulak structure hebilakok ami ki boli kom cell organelles etia protecto cell organelle নহয় কিছুমান সেল অৰ্গানেলিজৰ কভাৰ থাকে আৰু কিছুমান সেল অৰ্গানেলিজৰ মেমব্ৰেন এখন নাথাকে সো প্ৰোক্যাৰিওটৰ এটা বেসিক ক্যাৰেক্টাৰিস্টিক কি হৈছে যে মেমব্ৰেন বাউন্ড সেল অৰ্গানেলি অ্যাবসেন্ট একদম সিম্পল এক্সাম্পল to কি if you talk about a nucleus we know the proper nucleus always has a nuclear membrane a nuclear membrane থাকা nucleus টোক আমি কি বুলি কম membrane bound cell organelle কিন্তু prokaryotes membrane bound cell organelle নাথাকে সেই কাৰণে nucleus টোৰ কি নাথাকে nuclear membrane নাথাকে so membrane bound cell organelle is absent and but what you need to remember note that this is correct but ribosomes present right etia ami ki discuss kori aso we are discussing the characteristics of a prokaryotic cell right so prokaryotic cell or characteristics well organized nucleus absent nuclear membrane absent right next is histone protein absent membrane bound cell organelles for example mitochondria present ne absent obviously absent hobo in case of prokaryotes kiho karone kar mitochondria itself is a membrane bound cell organelle is the point understood ঠিক তেনেকে ribosomes would be present and the mitochondria itself is absent তুমি prokaryote mitochondria নুপুয়া mitochondria নিচিনাকে কাম কৰা বেলেগ বস্তু এটা আছে ঠিক আছে যিকোনো সেল অৰ্গানেলিজ আৰু মেমব্ৰেন আছে হেতু বস্তু prokaryotic cell এটাত absent হ'ব right এটা এক্সাম্পল আমি কি দিলু নিউক্লিয়াস বুলি কইলে proper nucleus prokaryotes absent হ'ব mitochondria prokaryotes absent হ'ব is the point understood lysosome prokaryotes absent হ'ব কাৰণ এইবিলাক গুটেইবিলাক এক্সাম্পল কি হয় membrane bound cell organelles or example understood okay coming back to this one ribosomes present ribosome is a structure or it's a organelle that is present both in case of eukaryotes and prokaryotes right jenike nucleus structure to kot thake eukaryotes thake prokaryotes na thake mitochondria kot thake mitochondria eukaryote thake prokaryote na thake kintu ribosomes ba ribosomes kot thake duita case ore thake it is found in both eukaryotic and the prokaryotic cell but the difference is the type of ribosome is different আমি পিছত details discuss korim in the chapter cell as of now ribosomes would be present and the type of ribosome would be 70S type right so 30S 50S iman monot rakhibo nalage khali ki monot rakhiba je prokaryotes junto ribosome thake he ribosome to ki type it is 70S type aru eukaryotes junto ribosome thake that is 80S type right we'll be discussing this later in the chapter cell so these are the characteristics of monera similarly aru kisuman ase yeah virus belongs to which kingdom বুলি ক'ব নোৱাৰা তুমি kingdom তাহাঁতৰ separate কে থোৱা নাই ঠিক আছে they are entirely a different set of organisms এতিয়া yeah they have both the characteristics so you cannot assign them a particular kingdom right but virus or details obviously we are going to discuss in this chapter itself if you have gone through the NCERT book pisor pine virus or informations ase so we'll be talking about it right korbat thobo lagibo kintu korbat thobo lagile first tomar living ne non living hetu hobo lagibo আমি হেতুই ডিসাইড কৰিব পৰা নাই যে হেতু লিভিং হয় নে নন লিভিং হয় তো তুমি প্ৰথমতে লিভিং নন লিভিং ডিসাইড কৰা পিছতহে আমি তা ক্লাসিফিকেশন কৰিম right so এতিয়া হেকানি yeah living and non living would also be wrong no Sharma okay whatever okay chalo come back to this topic again so these are the informations about Monera next aru kisman informations jeneke ribosomes we have discussed next nutrition of Monera right Monera is a kingdom of prokaryotes we have to talk about the nutrition of the prokaryotes also right nutrition boli kole two types of nutrition no autotrophs aru heterotrophs so Monerat kenukwa dhoroner organisms pam autotrophs pam ne heterotrophs pam nutrition in Monera could be of two types or both types autotrophic ase heterotrophic ase and heterotrophic right and if you talk about autotrophic Monera example would be cyanobacteria Monera one example is cyanobacteria cyanobacteria is an example of a autotrophic Monera next is if you are talking about heterotrophic Monerans the examples could be eubacteria or bacteria right archaebacteria etc so baki bilak sob ki hobo heterotrophic the point to be remembered is as far as nutrition is concerned both the two types of nutrition is seen in this kingdom next we come to cell wall right cell wall present ne absent in the prokaryotic cell what we know in this kingdom you have certain organisms with the cell wall and certain organisms without the cell wall so cell wall absent aru cell wall present cell wall absent kot hobo in mycoplasma you have to remember these examples ঠিক আছে যেনেকে আমি autotrophs কি example cyanobacteria ঠিক তেনেকে cell wall present ne absent kot hobo in case of mycoplasma and later you will know that this group of organisms are called as joker of microbiology right joker of microbiology boli kole which group of organisms we understand we are talking about mycoplasma what is mycoplasma a group of Monera and for those organisms who have the cell wall tahator cell wall is made of peptidoglycan a word to birat important so ami jetia cell wall kotha kono what we know is if you are talking about the presence of cell wall we say that to be a plant cell jedi cell wall na thake that is a animal cell right so in case of Monera tat cell wall ase ne nai kisuman organisms or cell wall ase aru kisuman organisms or cell wall nai kuntu Monerar cell wall nai that is mycoplasma aru kar cell wall ase for example if you talk about bacteria cell wall ase nai obviously the cell wall is present right so there are certain archaebacteria kotha kole archaebacteria also has a cell wall so there are certain organisms with a cell wall certain organisms without a cell wall the point to be remembered here is cell wall boli kole ami plant cell or cell wall thake plant cell or cell wall what is the basic constituent it is made up of what it is made up of cellulose apart from cellulose there are some other substances also but basic component ki hoy cellulose but in this case cellulose is absent cell wall ase kintu cellulose nai jodi ki ase peptidoglycan is present is the point understood right the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan another point of interest is this peptidoglycan is absent in Archaebacteria. So, we are not writing it in sentences. Exactly. Teichoic acid related, we'll be doing it. Right. So, as of now, cell wall absent, present, we know. If it is present, it is made up of peptidoglycan. Cellulose is absent. Absent in mycoplasma. 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 Right. Present in all others. Jimanbur Monera are examples of Eubacteria hobo, Archaebacteria hobo, then Cyanobacteria hobo. Next is we have Actinomycetes. Rest of sobore cell wall ase. Khali kar nai, mycoplasma nai. Right? Aru jodi cell wall ase, cell wall does not contain cellulose. Instead, it contains ki peptidoglycan. Another important point is peptidoglycan is present in all the monerans, almost all the monerans except Archaebacteria. Ekinet kiba confused hoisa niki? Swason bostu to buji paisan nai? In short, what we want to say, the cell wall of a bacteria and the cell wall of the Archaebacteria is slightly different. Eta point of difference ki palu je bacteria cell wallot peptidoglycan thakibo kintu Archaebacteria cell wallot peptidoglycan absent hobo. Right? Next is they are, a particular word is associated with this kingdom, ubiquitous. Do you understand the meaning of ubiquitous? Ubiquitous mane ki? Universally present. What to buzi paune? Universally present means present almost everywhere. That is called as universally present. So we can use this word also. So the kingdom Monera or the organisms that are present in this kingdom are considered to be ubiquitous because they are present almost everywhere. Everywhere mane, they might be present inside the body, they might be present outside the body also. They might be present in very colder areas or they might be present in very warmer areas also. Terrestrial hobo pare, aquatic hobo pare, etc., etc. So they are a group of widespread organisms, right? Widespread organisms. But no doubt they are widespread, but instead it is a less known kingdom. So, we are just discussing the salient features of Monera, right? So, those are the points that we have written. We have come to nutrition. We have discussed about cell wall. Next is, where can you find these organisms? These organisms are found almost everywhere, and so we are talking about ubiquitous. Iman widespread organisms by Iman widespread kingdom. In spite of that, this kingdom is considered to be less known. So, it is a kingdom that is considered to be less known kingdom. And what is the reason behind? The bahutpur microorganism ba bahutpur bacteria itia enekwa ase junbilak niki identify hua nai, right? So, we are using the word, it is a less known. Ubiquitous, present almost everywhere. One best example could be E. coli also. Have you heard this word? E. coli, Funisana, Escherichia coli, right? This is a type of bacteria that is present, quote present. It is something that is very useful and it is present inside or it is present in the intestine of human beings, right? Small intestine or ki thake E. coli. Just to give an example, say enekwa dhoroner organisms could be present almost everywhere. Either it is inside the body or it might be outside the body also. Yeah. Hakeki. Is that the question? Okay, we'll be discussing when we talk about Archaebacteria in details. All right? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Next, we have to talk about locomotion of these organisms also. So locomotion jodi koa kisuman organisms are absent, kisuman organisms are present. Tamane monera jiman bilak organisms thakibo tare kisuman organisms are ki nokore move nokore aru kisuman organisms e move koribo. So what you remember is absent in case of what? In cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria aru eta naam ki, they are also called as blue green algae. So blue green algae belongs to which kingdom? It belongs to Monera. Rest bacteria belongs to which kingdom? Bacteria belongs to Monera also. Kintu bacteria can move, cyanobacteria cannot move, right? And if and they will prepare generally movement to kihor karone hoy no, in search of food. Tahale no nijok khwa bostu nijei banai loy, right? And if the locomotion is present, then what is the locomotory structure or apparatus? Flagella, right? So junbilak organisms move koribo tahate kihor through move koribo, flagellar through move koribo. Yeah, and those in which the locomotion is absent, the answer would be, or the example could be cyanobacteria. Another point is you have a process called as cyclosis. It is about question ahe, cyclosis present ne absent? It is absent in case of Monera. What is cyclosis? Streaming movement of cytoplasm is called as cyclosis. Eta cell thakibo, eta cell thakibo. Inside the cell what you have is cytoplasm, right? So this cytoplasm will keep on moving, right? And this is what is called as streaming movement. Streaming movement of cytoplasm. Streaming movement of cytoplasm is also called as cyclosis. This type of a movement is absent in case of a prokaryotic cell. So question to hai, cyclosis bacteria present na absent? Cyclosis in case of bacteria is absent, right? Absent. Cyclosis movement to hoise streaming movement buliu koy. Cytoplasm to ki hoy je cellor bitor thaka cytoplasm kini move kori thake eta jagar pra eta jagale, it keeps on moving. And what is the reason behind? It helps in carrying the nutrients from one place to the other part of the cell, right? So generally this type of a movement is seen in cells. Kintu bacteria is an example where this type of a movement is absent, right? Jehetu etai cell no, tahalo tat besi movement koribole dorkaru nai. So cyclosis is absent in case of prokaryotes or bacteria. Cyclosis is also called as streaming movement. Streaming movement of cytoplasm, right? Next point, reproduction. When we talk about reproduction of prokaryotes, bacteria reproduce keneke kore? Reproduction again it has been divided into two types, no? Asexual reproduction aru sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is something that we are not, So in case of Monera, what we have to know is how these organisms reproduce. Yeah, please continue. নহয় sexual reproduction or তোমার gametes form করিব gametes যেটালকে gamete form নকৰে তেতিয়াহলকে আমি সেই reproduction টুক sexual reproduction বুলি কব নোৱাৰো, right? So in case of Monera, the reproduction is only asexual. Always remember, they reproduces only through asexual means. Second point is sexual reproduction is absent, right? Third point is, eta point likhi lo. Okay. Bacteria sexual reproduction ki question to kuda? No. Sexual reproduction is absent in case of bacteria. The bacteria reproduces by asexual method, right? So sexual reproduction absent. Maximum. Soap kobo nwara, tate exceptions ase, right? So exceptions to thakibo, exceptions for example tumi kisuman type of algae ase junbilak niki unicellular, right? So he karone tate tumi sob bostute amar ki thake exceptions kisuman thake. So unicellular ni multicellular, that is not a point to be mixed with sexual ne asexual, right? Example basis of ami bostu to sabo laibo. For example, if we talk about bacteria, bacteria sexual ne asexual, we have to remember it is asexual. Kintu no doubt sexual reproduction is absent. Aru eta sentence likhim, just pay interest. Exchange of genetic material takes place. So it shows a type of sexual reproduction. Remember the word a type of. So reproduction or prokaryotes or bacteria to be specific, ami ki kolu that they will reproduce only asexually. Question to jodi ahe, sexual reproduction present ne absent, sexual reproduction absent, right? Ekhin loke ami buji palu. We come back to the third line. Third line to buzar agote, let's talk something about sexual reproduction. If you talk about sexual reproduction, tat ki hobo laibo? The first and foremost gametes form koribo laibo, no? Jetalake gametes form nokore, jetalake sexual reproduction no hoy. So you have a male gamete, you have a female gamete, right? So male gamete, female gamete ase. A gamete duta fuse hobo, fuse hoi pelai tat eta ki form koribo? Zygote form koribo. Etoi to hol sexual reproduction. I think we know this step, right? So male gamete, female gamete fuse together form one cell, and that cell is called as the zygote. A cell tut ki thakibo? Yare genetic material aru yare genetic material kini yat thakibo na thake, right? Genetic material 1, genetic material 2. So yate ki thakibo? Genetic material 1 plus 2 thakibo. Just a way to understand, right? So ami ki koiso je jetia sexual reproduction hoy tetia hale gametes form hoy, duta gamete fuse kore. So what we understand by that statement, duta gamete fuse kora mane ki je duita gamete genetic material kini fuse kori goise, right? Itur pra itu, ultimately we have one cell. So in other words, what we can say, the sexual reproduction of genetic material or exchange hoy ne nohoy. Yar pra adha ahi pelai eta cell form korile, no? Similarly, in case of bacteria ki hoy, sexual reproduction absent. Kiho karone absent? Karon gamete formation not seen. Kintu a type of sexual reproduction is present. There's a difference between sexual reproduction present and a type of sexual reproduction present. Sexual reproduction absent. What is the reason behind? Gametes are not formed. Sida sidi hetu answer, right? Kintu exchange of genetic material dekha pai. So if there is a exchange of genetic material, then we can say this is a type of sexual reproduction but not a proper sexual reproduction. Is the statement understood? Right? If someone has gone through the lesson, no, jedi bacterial reproduction part to okoman porhisa, tate tumalke kisuman words paba jeneke conjugation, transduction, transformation. এই তিনটা টাইপক আমি কি কম? a type of sexual reproduction, right? কিহৰ কাৰণে sexual reproduction নিচিনা বুলি কৈছো কাৰণ তাতে কি হয় genetic material exchange হয়, right? হেবলা আমি ডিটেইলস ডিসকাস কৰিম যেতিয়া আমি reproduction in bacteria ডিসকাস কৰিম. As of now, Monera characteristics ডিসকাস কৰি আছো. What you know about reproduction in case of Monera? They only reproduce through asexual means, but a type of sexual reproduction could also be present. Sexual reproduction always absent, right? Next point is types of Monera. Monera is a kingdom. Kiman types thakibo? Types. There are almost 8 types, right? Out of these 8 types, according to your NCERT book, you are supposed to read only 5 of them in details. And what are these 5? Eubacteria or true bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, archaebacteria. দেখা পোৱা নাই মানে আকৌ ফ্ৰিজ হৈ গ'ল শুনালে এতিয়া চোৱাচোন এতিয়া দেখা পাইছানে নাই হা ভিডিও ফ্রিজ हो गया ओके চোৱাচোন এতিয়া দেখা পাইছা নেকি সবৰে কোনো দেখা পোৱা নাই নে অকল এজন স্পেসিফিক ষ্টুডেন্টে দেখা পোৱা নাই পাইছা ন ঠিক আছে জুনে দেখা নাই চোৱাচোন অকমান কিবা সিস্টেমত কিবা প্ৰবলেম হৈছে নেকি হা এতিয়া দেখা পাইছা এতিয়া আহিছে ন ঠিক আছে ওকে আমি কি ডিসকাস কৰিছো টাইপস অফ মোনেৰা ন ইউব্যাকটেৰিয়া সাইনোব্যাকটেৰিয়া মাইকোপ্লাজমা আৰ্কিব্যাকটেৰিয়া actinomycetes rickettsia chlamydia and spirochetes right so monera 8ta type of 8ta group ase aru a group to you cannot hear me now okay is it okay now you cannot hear what about the rest of the students শুনা পাইছা ন so ঠিকে চলি আছে তে এজন স্পেসিফিক ষ্টুডেন্টৰ প্ৰবলেম হৈছে যেন পাইছো okay can you hear me okay restor karone to eko problem hua nai okay let's continue okay chalo jodi problem ase koi diba ha so okay we have to talk about this 8 or bitor ncrt mote egita ami poribo laibo right 1 2 3 4 and 5 so egitar he ami details khini porhim so up till now what we have discussed is we have started the kingdom monera some of the salient features of monera we have discussed what we know is whenever we talk about monera it is the kingdom of prokaryotes so characteristics bila kenekwa hobo prokaryotic cell etar jenekwa characteristics thakibo moneran cell etaru tenekwa characteristics thakibo nutrition we know the both autotrophs and heterotrophic nutrition is present examples we have discussed locomotion some have locomotion some do not have locomotion present or absent cell wall some organisms someone is in the waiting room eta thike ase ne Krishanu can you hear bahut disturb dise আজি class tot okay let's see okay so what we have discussed is we have talked about the salient features of monera and the types of monera so these are the types of monera tar birot a pasta poribo laibo we'll be starting with the topic called as eubacteria what is eubacteria eubacteria is nothing but true bacteria bacteria buliu kobo paru ba ami eubacteria buliu kobo paru so you etia entry one nai someone is waiting okunu nai boli koise na jano okay ekeni portion lage doubts asil niki so we will be starting with fifth category was archaebacteria episode actinomycetes actinomycetes right so a pasta bikhoye ami details ot poribo laibo so we will be starting with eubacteria eubacteria mane ki okay just a second 8 types to kobo lagibo no monera Ekhini no? Okay. Monera 8 types only we have discussed. Eko miss kora nai tumi. So Monera 8 types at ami ki palu. That you have eubacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, archaebacteria, actinomycetes. Number 6 we have rickettsia. Number 7 we have chlamydia or chlamydia, and number 8 we have spirochetes. Right? Tar bitorte okol ei pasta ami NCERT poribo laibo. Right? 18 ta na lage. So what we have started with is eubacteria, right? What is eubacteria? Eubacteria is also called as true bacteria. Right? Bacteria buli kole jibla characteristics ami janu, tak ami ki buli kon eubacteria. Tar mane swa, cyanobacteria is also a bacteria, but that is not an example of a true bacteria. Kan true bacteria ami ki janu, the true bacteria bilak generally heterotrophs hoy no, apart from some examples of photosynthetic bacteria, maximum bacteria ki hoy heterotrophic hoy. So eubacteria buli kole we will be discussing about true bacteria. So eubacteria ami ki discuss koribo laibo, we have to talk about it in details. The first thing that we will be discussing is the structure of eubacteria. So ami eta diagram akim. Structure akim ha. Koman dangor hobo structure to saba. দেখা পাইছা নে বোর্ডখন ভালকে exactly just এটা rough diagram আঁকিম কিছুমান hair like structures ওলাব আৰু just pay interest the hair like structures jumla kami draw korisu kisuman thare they are some of them are long and some of them are short. Can you see the red line? এই বস্তুটো যোনটো আঁকি আছে দেখা পাইছা right? So this is almost the structure. We'll be going for the markings. Saba properly saba ha ajeri dhoribo para nai muk khudhiba. A red portion into akisu, this is called as septal, prokaryotic cell, no? এখানে অলমোস্ট হেৰি হ'ব কিন্তু ইয়াতে এটা পইণ্ট কি মনত ৰাখিব লাগিব যদি কোনোবাই পঢ়িছা ন whenever we talk about bacteria there are various shapes of bacteria, right? According to the shape that they have, bacteria বিলাকৰ নাম বেলেগ বেলেগ, coccus, bacillus, spirulus, rod shaped, etc. So the bacteria that we are drawing here is nothing but a rod shaped bacteria, right? So rod shaped bacteria ta diagram loi pelai we are trying to draw. Amma koi asu roba aki lo ha incipient nucleus, or it is also called as genophore, no? We have already written, so yate likhi ni diu aru. This dotted portion is called as volatin granule, right? Ekhini portion. Next, etu ki hobo? Cytoplasm, right? A black color etu ki hobo? You have a structure called as plasmid, something that is present in each and every bacteria. Plasmid. Next, A portion kini gas vacuoles, right? Next, this dotted portion glycogen granule, gas vacuole, glycogen granule, right? This one is called as, this red portion, lateral mesosome. অলপ আগতে আমি কি পাইছিলো septal mesosome, এটো কি হয় lateral mesosome. This one flagella, right? So if someone is drawing the diagram, or for those students who are just watching the diagram, what you need to remember is flagella ki hoy hair like structure, aru ebilak jon bilak akisu ebilako hair like structure, kintu tahator point of origin to beleg beleg. If you notice, the flagella has come or has originated from this green line, right? Kintu a hair like structure bilak sob superficial hoy. Flagella, exactly. This longer hair like structure is called as pili. This shorter hair like structure is called as fimbriae, right? So kisuman dighol ase, kisuman suti ase, no? Junbilak suti tak ami ki buli kom fimbriae kom, ar junbilak dighol hair like structures ase tak ami ki buli kom pili. So almost we have done the marking. Next we have to talk about, suppose ekhini ma musi diu ha, musi di pelai a line 2, this one and this one. Outermost layer to ami ki boli ko capsule. Inner to the capsule is the cell wall, and inner to cell wall is the cell membrane. और एक गुटे तीनिटाई फॉर्म की करे सेल एनवेलप. So this is almost the diagram or a rough diagram of a prokaryotic cell. Aru eta kotha ki monon rakhiba, no doubt we are discussing about bacteria. Bacteria is an example of a prokaryotic cell. So structure of a prokaryotic cell keteba akibo dile, this structure could always be correct. Because structures ami kot porhim, ami jeta next lesson ba cell porhim, no? Cellot ki thakibo eukaryotic cell ar prokaryotic cell duitare ami structure porhibo lagibo. So at that time what we will be discussing is only prokaryotic cell, because eukaryotic cell is something that we have discussed now. Okay, so that ami ki korim, we can just go superficially, karon details will always do it here. Coming back to this one, we are talking about the structure of a bacteria or structure of eubacteria. So we are talking about a rod shaped bacteria. Eta bacteria cell or bhitorot ami ki structures bilak pao, these are the things that we often see, right? So এই গুটেইবিলাক বস্তুৰ এটা আমি ইনফৰমেশন জানিব লাগিব. First we have something called as ribosomes. অকমান মই লিখাই দিম, কিন্তু just to say ribosomes বুলি ক'লে আমি কি জানো? What is the function of ribosomes? It is the factory of proteins, or it synthesizes proteins. So এই সেলটোক যিমানবোৰ proteins লাগিব কোনে provide কৰিব? Ribosomes provide কৰিব. Another information about ribosome that we have said is the type of ribosome present in case of a prokaryotic cell. It is always 70S type. In case of a eukaryotic cell, the ribosome is 80S type. Next, we have mesosome bar koi aso. Nucleus we have already talked about. Nucleus 70S in case of prokaryotes. 80S in case of eukaryotes, right? Okay. Next, we have a circular DNA. You don't have a proper structure for this. This is called as incipient nucleus. No, proper nucleus boli to ami kobo noaru karon nuclear membrane nathake. Next, kisuman granules thakibo, and this two types of granules is something that you will see. One is called as volatile granule, and the other is called as glycogen granule. এই granules বিলাকত কি থাকে? কিছুমান বস্তু স্টোৰ হৈ থাকে. For example, if you talk about glycogen granule, ইয়াৰ ভিতৰত কি থাকিব? Food থাকিব, right? Food would be stored in glycogen granule. And if you are talking about volatile granule, phosphate would be stored in volatile granule, right? তুমি পঢ়া ডায়াগ্ৰামটো বুজিলো, আমি তাৰপিছত লিখি দিম. হৈ গ'ল. Next, cytoplasm to we know it is a liquid component that is inside the cell, that is called as cytoplasm. Next, এইখিনি কি হয়? Nucleus or genetic material. Apart from this nucleus, extra genetic material is also something that is present in case of a prokaryotic cell. Extra genetic material. Extra genetic material, the term that is used is plasmid, right? So what is plasmid? The extra genetic material that is present in this prokaryotic cell is called as a plasmid. Ekhini genetic material thakiboi, tar upori extra thakibo. This is called as plasmid. Details we'll write about. Next, you have a structure called as gas vacuoles, right? So talking about vacuole, presence of vacuole is not necessary. It's an important characteristic of a prokaryotic. So prokaryotic cell bilakot generally vacuoles present nohoy. Eukaryotic cell etat vacuoles bilakor present hoy aru tahantor rolu ase. Kintu enekwa dhoroner vacuoles ba gas vacuoles is present only in those type of bacteria that are aquatic in nature, right? Jedi terrestrial bacteria hoy tetia hole kintu tahantor gas vacuole nathake. Jedi aquatic bacteria we are drawing tetia hole tahantor ki thakibo? Gas vacuole thakibo. And what would be the function of a gas vacuole? Buoyancy, right? পানীত ফ্লোট কৰিবলে কোনে হেল্প কৰিব? এই গ্যাস ভেকিউলস বিলাকে হেল্প কৰিব. আৰু সেই কাৰণে যেহেতু দিস টাইপ অফ ভেকিউল ইজ জেনাৰেলি অ্যাবসেন্ট ইন কেস অফ আ ব্যাকটেৰিয়া, ইহতক আমি ট্ৰু ভেকিউলস বুলি নকৈ পেলাই pseudo vacuole is the term that we use for them. So these gas vacuoles are also called as pseudo vacuole. What is the function of the gas vacuole? Provides buoyancy to the cell, right? Next, coming to hair-like structures, we have something called as flagella, pili or fimbriae. As far as flagella is concerned with locomotion, no? Bahut bilak hair-like structures thakibo. Pili or fimbriae kintu locomotion ot help nokore. Tahate kihot help kore? Attachment ot. Eta bacteria antu bacteria usor jedi log lagibo lage ba eta bacteria jikunu eta surface ot jedi attach hobo lage, in that case who is going to help them in attachment is always pili and fimbriae, right? No doubt you have three types of hair-like substances. Only flagella helps in locomotion, pili and fimbriae helps in attachment, right? Next, almost complete, we have the cell envelope. The cell envelope of bacteria is made up of 3 layers. What are the 3 layers? The outermost layer that is called as capsule. Inner to the capsule you have the cell wall. Aru sobotse bhitor thaka layer to ami ki buli kau? In case of a eukaryotic cell, eta cell ase sobore bhitor layer to juntu layer e cytoplasm to bound kori rakhise. Hey layer to ami ki buli kau? Plasma membrane, right? So that plasma membrane is also called as cell membrane. So cell membrane is present in case of bacteria. It is also present in case of a eukaryotic cell also, right? So cell envelope of bacteria consists of 3 layers: the capsule, the cell wall or cell membrane. Kisuman bacteria ako capsule nathakibo pare, যদি ক্যাপসুল না থাকে তেতিয়াহলে বাহিৰৰ লেয়াৰটোত কি থাকিব সেল মেমব্ৰেনটো অবভিয়াসলি থাকিব তাৰ বাহিৰত সেল ওয়াল থাকিব সেল ওয়ালৰ বাহিৰত কিছুমানৰ ক্যাপসুল থাকে কিছুমানৰ এটা স্লাইমি লেয়াৰ থাকে দ্যাট ইজ হোৱাট ইজ কল্ড এ স্লাইম লেয়াৰ আমি ডিসকাস কৰিম অলপ পিছত এখিনৰকে কিবা ডাউটস আছে নেকি what we are left is only mesosome apart from mesosome we have discussed everything এখিনৰকে ডাউটস আছিল নেকি কিবা volatile granule it stores phosphate লিখাই দি ওকে মই লিখাই আছো এখিন লকেটো হল জাস্ট মই এই মেসোসোমটো অকমান কৈ লওঁ তাৰ পিছত মই বস্তুটো কৰি আছো সোৱা ফাৰ্স্ট থিং মেসোসোম কেটা দেখিছা দুটা দেখিছা ডায়াগ্ৰামত এটা হল সেপ্টেল মেসোসোম এটা হল লেটাৰেল মেসোসোম ৰাইট দুইটাৰ নাম বেলেগ বেলেগ কি হয় কাৰণ সেপ্টেল মেসোসোমে ফাংশনটো কি হয় the function is to form the septa what is a septa the cell মানে এটা সেল আছে এই সেলটো আফটাৰ সেল ডিভিজন কি হ'ব দুটা সেল ফৰ্ম কৰিব নকৰে তো মাজত এখন সেল ওয়াল ফৰ্ম কৰিব লাগিব না লাগে যদি ওয়ালখন ফৰ্ম কৰে তেতিয়া দুভাগত ভাগ হ'ব so this is what is called as septa so septal mesosome কি কৰে সেল ডিভিজনৰ সময়ত septa formation at help kore and so it is called as septal mesosome first point second point it helps in DNA segregation chromosomes bila ki hobo duita daughter or mazot separate hoy jabo leibo ba duita daughter or mazot distribute hobo leibo kune help koribo septal mesosome third point is the septal mesosome is something that would be present near the nuclear material right so we have drawn this one almost near the genetic material is the point understood karon ekhinit jetia cell division hobo tahator mazot cell